All right, so it's time for another Is It Worth the Grind guide. So today we're going to be doing our friendships worth grinding. So we're going to be going over all the tech tree lines and the French tree. So we'll be going over the battleship line, the two cruiser lines, and the two destroyer lines. So we'll be going over that today. So let's get started. The first line we'll be going over is going to be the Cassard line. Now the Cassard line is the newest destroyer line for the French. And I would say it's sort of worth getting. It's a more skill-based torpedo boat line, but strong whenever played well. I definitely recommend it if you want a more aggressive torpedo destroyer style than a Shima, because the guns on this thing are actually pretty decent. You do not get smoke on this compared to the Shima, and the speed is pretty nice when you have the engine boost active. When it's not active, though, it's not the quickest, so it's kind of the downside. The anti-air on it, it's okay, not the best. So if you're dealing with a CV, is going to be kind of suffering. But what makes this ship really special are its torpedoes. You do get 12 torpedoes on this thing, which is a lot of them. And the main thing that makes this different than the other line is the fact that, so as you can see on the right there, it has a maximum damage of 24,267, and that is within 7 kilometers. When it goes outside of 7 kilometers, slowly the damage drops off until it goes to its maximum range of 13.5. So the further out the torpedoes do, the less damage it does. But now they are buffing it to where the damage drop off isn't as bad as it was. So I think the Cassard line's a really good line for a more skilled torpedo boat players. So if you already have the Shima or you already have other torpedo boats and you want to try something more skilled, then I think the Cassard line would definitely be a fun line for you, because the guns also on it are really nice. You get 627mm guns with a 3.5-second reload. Of course, you can build into that, but overall the ship is really fun to play. It's good, like, overall. It's just a more skilled line than rather just a normal Shima line. So I would say I would recommend it if you want a more aggressive torpedo DD line. All right, so the next recommendation is going to be the Kleber line. This line is one of the original for the French. I'd highly recommend this line. It is a very strong gunboat with extremely good dodging, and it has the reload booster for the guns. And the Kleber itself is a staple of competitive gameplay and highly recommended gunboat. So this ship comes with a main battery reload booster along with an engine boost, and this ship is one of the fastest destroyers in the game. With the engine boost, it goes like 56 something knots, 57ish. It goes really, really quick. It has amazing guns that are meant for long to mid distance engagements. It's really meant to farm battleships, cruisers, you name it, it can farm it. The AP on it is actually decent as well. You can Citadel cruisers, like light cruisers, I think from like 6 kilometers away. If they're broadside, of course. So you can reload booster them and do a lot of damage with the AP. And you can build into range on this thing and farm battleships from like 15, 16 kilometers away. And with how fast this ship is, it's very, very hard to hit. And you're able just to farm away with your HE, and there's not much they're going to be able to do about it. Your main weakness, though, is aircraft carriers. Since you're not able to smoke yourself up and the anti on this is pretty poor, you'll definitely be suffering. There's multiple ways to play the Kleber as well. You can play it as a long-range farmer. You can play it as a submarine slash DD hunter. This thing has a large amount of depth charges per charge. You get 18, so you can run down those submarines pretty easily in this ship. Another downside of this ship is its concealment. When you fully fill it, it's like a 7.5-ish concealment, I believe. The concealment is definitely not the best, but if you're running toward an enemy, like an enemy destroyer, and it's running at you, you're pretty much going to guarantee spot it, and you can just keep running it down. It's not going to get away, and it's going to get dead pretty quickly. Another good thing about this ship is its torpedoes. Now, they're not the longest range torpedoes. They go to 8 kilometers, but you do get 12 of them with a fast reload. So you can use islands to sneak up onto like an island sitting battleship or a cruiser that's around the area, and you can just yellow rush them with torps. So this ship does amazingly well in brawls. It does well in the unbreakable mode. It does amazingly well in that regard. It's a staple in competitive play. There are also there's a lot of different builds, but you can do the legendary build, which makes the ship more stealthy and makes the main guns worse. It makes it where the guns have way worse reloads, so you're more relying on the torps. It essentially turns the Kleber from an open water gunboat to a torpedo boat, and it makes it have a lot stronger of a concealment. And the Kleber is definitely a staple and competitive, and that's probably one of the builds that they run, is that to be able to be more stealthy and be able to move around. Because the versatility of the Kleber is unmatched. The Kleber and the Marseille, since they're essentially pretty much the same ship, you're able to rotate really quickly. You're able to farm pretty much anything, the play style that you want, you're able to pick. So there's tons of different variety and versatility with this ship. It's probably one of my most recommended destroyer lines, but I usually don't recommend it as like a beginner line. It's like your second or third line. Then yeah, I recommend it for sure. But as a first one, no. It's really hard to get into, but once you do, it is amazing for sure. One other thing that's special about the French destroyers is that it's a so-called French saturation mechanic. So imagine on the whole, there are, well, as you can see here, there's different segments. You have the bow segment, the middle section, the aft, and the citadel section, and the superstructure. All these have a certain amount of HP that matches to the whole HP of the ship, right? So when a section gets saturated, it will take half damage from it normally would when it's saturated. It doesn't take full damage. And that happens quicker on the French destroyers only because these modules each hold less health than the normal destroyers would for other nations. So these ships are very maneuverable, very fast, and they get the French saturation. So it makes it very hard to kill, even though it doesn't have a heal. So overall, highly recommend the Kleber. Absolutely amazing. I love playing it. So much fun. Highly recommend it for sure. So, moving on from the destroyers, I say we move on to the French cruisers. So, the first one we're looking at is going to be the Henri IV line, also the Condé, but we're going to be focusing on the Henry. And again, if you guys have any questions about these lines in particular, just let me know down in the comments, as well as let me know what your guys' favorite French lines are, and if you'd recommend them or not, and the reasons for. So for me, the Henry IV is kind of like a maybe recommend. It's definitely a strong damage farming line. It definitely relies on its speed to avoid damage. Condé is definitely the damage farming master of the super ships, and the rest are kind of unremarkable. I definitely recommend if you want to master dodging BB shots, because these things are absolute speed demons, especially the Henry. They took away its nerf to its acceleration a while back and its stopping power. So this thing can literally go and stop on a dime with its engine boost. This ship comes with Hydro, DFAA, engine boost, a heal, and it has a main battery reload booster. Most people play the Henry IV as a lighthouse build, so your concealment pretty much matches your gun range is normally how people will play it. And they do that so you're able to get all those buffs active for the outnumbered and the top grade gunner. So you can get all those active all the time. So you get just so much DPM out of this ship. This ship really excels at long to mid-range HE farming. You can use AP on closer targets, but HE farming is really where it comes in with that strong HE with that really high fire chance. And that reload booster really comes into play when you set somebody on fire or two fires and they damage control party it. Then, once their damage control party is down, So like for a cruiser, it's like 5 or 6 seconds. For a battleship, like 20 max. If it's American battleship, like 28 seconds max. You'll then activate the reload booster and you'll get permafires, no problem. And that ship will be burning so fast, and they'll be going down the Davies locker in no time. It'll be ridiculous. And that's the main purpose of the reload booster. Now, you can use the AP as well at closer range using the reload booster, and you'll just Citadel the living crap out of broadside cruisers. You're not going to be able to Citadel battleships per se, because the gun caliber is a little bit small, but cruisers, you'll definitely Citadel with that AP, and you'll pack a wallop with it. Torpedoes on this thing, they're more meant for closer range. They're 9 kilometers, so you can use them in kind of like a drive-by scenario, or if someone's close enough to where you're cutting away, you can torp them. You can do that. But overall, yeah, that's that. Anti-air is okay. It's not the best, not the worst. It's like average good. They'll definitely shoot down planes, but it's not going to stop an attack, unfortunately. Maneuverability, it is very fast. It's very quick for a cruiser with its engine boost active. About 44 knots, 45 knots. Yeah, about 45 knots-ish. Probably, yeah. No, 42 for 3 knots, yeah. And its acceleration is very strong for the Henry. It can speed up very quickly, slow down very quickly. It's definitely one of the more maneuverable cruisers at tier 10 in the terms of stopping and go power. That is your main ability to dodge. You're not as focused on the turning. You're not as focused on like turning juking. You're doing more throttle juking. You can of course turn or rudder juke, of course, in this ship, but you're more focused on that throttle juking, the dodge, most of your salvos. So that's going to be the Henri IV. And I sort of recommend it. It's definitely fun, but it's more of like a personal preference if that's what you want. So moving on from the Henry, let's talk about the Marseille line overall, right? And of course, I'm talking about mostly the tier 10s here. If you guys want me to talk about the lower tiers, I can. But mostly I'm talking about the whole line in general. And I just focus on the tier 10 because it's easier to do that. So for the Marseille line has really big guns. Really big. 330 millimeters. And you get 9 of them. And they're all forward facing too, which is absolutely... Anyone that's like you're pushing into with these things and you're having all those guns going off, whew, they are not going to be having a fun time. So the Marseille line, I would say sort of recommend. They're really good in randoms. For kind of competitive play, they're also there as well. For pushing in with like a really fast push, Marseilles are definitely popular. You would consider these like a mini battle cruiser line that relies on speed to outflank enemies and shoot their broadside. The Marseille also sees some competitive use, like I was saying, but it's fine if you like that high speed playstyle with the big guns. This ship comes with hydro or defensive AA. You get propulsion or fighters. I don't know why you would run fighters. If you run fighters on this thing, I think you just should be in an insane asylum at that point. You get an engine, you get a repair party and then a reload booster, very similar to the Henry in that regard. Its top speed is very similar to the Henry, very similar to the Henry, and it has very similar characteristics to its ability to speed up and slow down. This thing can pretty much stop on a dime. It is very hard to snipe with the battleship, very hard, and it also has a very nice turning radius, but the rudder shift is pretty bad. That's like the main downside, is that rudder shift is 14.5 seconds, which is pretty long. The armor on it, 25 millimeters of the bow, deck armor 36. Like I was saying, it's a mini battle cruiser. It doesn't have the best armor. It's not the worst. It's just a mini battle cruiser. Looking at the Henry is a legit just a light cruiser. So Henry's a light cruiser of the French, while the Marseille is the heavy cruiser, and it's based off of the gun caliber. I would say if you like aggressive gameplay, I would say the Marseille is worth it. Using your speed, the juke, the AP can absolutely slap pretty much anything. You'll definitely be able to Citadel cruisers with ease. Battleships you'll slap at the AP and the HE. overall find the line really fun to play. The tier 9, tier 8, I found really good. I'm trying to go in the tech tree real quick. The breast. Why wouldn't you have fun with the breast? We all like breast, right? So, you know, I would definitely say get it. If you want to meme with the breasts, you know, mess with them a little bit. The bongas, you know, yeah, you can have fun with that. Cherbourg is also really good too. Cherbourg, Brest all do really well in ranked with those forward-facing guns with that reload booster. They do really well. Marseille just does well overall. Overall, just I like the whole line for the Marseille. A lot of fun to play. Anti-air is actually pretty decent on the Marseille compared to the Henry. I think it's a little bit better. So I like the anti-air on it a little bit better than the Henry. So there's a plus for that. Overall, I like it. It's a lot of fun to play. Same with the Henry. Like, they're both fun. It's just that it's just a little bit of a particular play style and in the meta on how good or bad they are. So I'd recommend the Marseille a little bit more than the Henry, just because there's a little bit more of a versatility with the Marseille, while the Henry is kind of stuck doing its long range stuff. The Marseille can be a little bit more aggressive. So I'd recommend the Marseille more than the Henry. If you guys had to, if I had to pick one to recommend more, like, I would recommend the Marseille more than I would the Henry, because they're both kind of like 50-50 if I'd recommend. They're like 50-50 nowadays, but I'd recommend the Marseille more. All right, so let's move on to the final line of the French, right? I had a brain fart for a second there. The final line we'll be going is going to be the Republic line. Look. I'm just gonna say it. No, I don't recommend the Republic line nowadays, and I'm gonna give my reasoning why. Even though I enjoy playing the Republic, and as of late, I've been playing the Republic, and I know people are gonna hate this, but I have been doing a secondary build Republic in randoms, by the way. In randoms, I've been doing a secondary build Republic, and it has actually been a ball. Now, I don't recommend this for everyone, and I do it just purely for memes, and because TC Freer, if you guys don't know who he is, he's another content creator for World of Warships. I was playing with Stats Bloke, and he was playing his Republic, and he was having a really bad day playing the Republic. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to take my Republic out, and I'm going to try to see if I do a better match than Stats did. And so, to mess with Stats, I wanted to take a secondary Republic, because TC is the only person that did a better match than Stats, like in a div with him, in a secondary build Republic. So I was like, okay, I want to be the second person. So I am now the second person to do better than Stats in a Republic when running a secondary one, and he runs a regular one. And it's just a funny meme that I do with Stats. It's pretty fun. I love collabing with Stats. Stats is an awesome dude. You guys should definitely check him out. Really fun to play with. Me and him also got featured on Jingle's YouTube a little bit ago. It was a lot of fun to see Jingles reacting to our Michelangelo and Paulo Melo div memes, and I do appreciate Jingles doing that. It was definitely a lot of fun to do. But anywho, let me explain why I don't really recommend the Republic. So the armor on the Republic is kind of the main downside, and it's not even just that. You get 32 millimeters of armor all over. And most of you may not understand this, but 32 mils of armor all over is very bad when you're dealing with HE farmers, because almost every single HE farmer at tier 10 is going to have above 32 millimeters of pen, which means they will be doing damage to you everywhere they hit. Everywhere they hit, they are going to be doing damage. It's not just going to be non-pins. They'll be pinning you everywhere, and they'll be doing massive damage. AP is also going to be pinning you absolutely everywhere because it's 32 millimeters. They're going to pin you all over. Now, it's very hard to citadel you because you do have a turtle back, but this ship is able to be citadeled though at distance. It is able to, or if you're able to overmatch the bow, which some tier 10 ships can, or some tier 9s, you can through the bow and hit that right here, and you're able to citadel it as well, as it is slightly above water. So you can do that through the bow or aft, depending upon if you have that 32 millimeter, if you have above like 460 millimeters of guns. If you're above 460 millimeters or at that, you're going to be able to do it, and this thing will be suffering. The gun angles on the Republic are also very trolly. You only get 2 turrets, and you get 4 guns on each. And sometimes these guns are god tier, and sometimes they are dog water. Sometimes they'll hit all the shells will hit one spot, and sometimes they'll literally not even hit the ship. It's just 50-50. And that's the main issue of it. The dispersion can be really trolly, or it can be really godlike. And that's the problem of having 2 turrets that are quad gunned, and that's the main problem of it. The gun angles on this ship are also really poor. So when you're shooting both of your guns, you have to show a lot of your side, and you're going to be taking a lot of damage from that. Now, the ship itself, it's not the quickest. Like, it's a 31.5 knot speed battleship. It's good speed for tier 10. You get an engine boost. It makes it go like 34 knots-ish, which is pretty nice for a tier 10. You do get a heal. The reload on the guns are really nice when you build into them all the way. Like with the main battery, with the legendary mod, you get it down to 19.7 seconds. And if you have adrenaline rush or the other skills, you can get that down to like 17, 16 seconds, which is incredibly fast for a 431 millimeter guns. So even though the guns may misbehave sometimes, you get a really fast reload, which is really nice. And the APs go on this ship as well as HE, so you can use HE at long distance and AP at closer. And the AP is good for broadside, angle targets, you name it. It's gonna do a lot of damage. Anti-air on this thing, it's actually it's good. It's good for a French. Surprisingly, it's good. 6-kilometer range, has a good amount of flat clouds, and the continuous damage is really nice. It's actually the medium range is where it really does really well. So if anything comes within that medium range, it's been doing a lot of damage. So that's really nice. Health wise, has a good amount of HP. Not bad. Pretty decent. I like it. Pretty nice. Turning radius. Yeah, this thing doesn't turn very well. 18.3 second rudder shift. Pretty poor. Turning radius is about average for the tier, so yeah, you ain't turning anytime soon. Concealment on this thing is not going to be the best, and that's just because it's just a tier 10 battleship and how massive it is. So overall, I'm not going to recommend the Republic nowadays. I'm sorry, but it's just not on my list to recommend. So sorry to disappoint, but I just don't recommend it nowadays to grind. It's just, like, if you have every line, then yeah, sure, grind it, but it's definitely not a grind for new players. You're going to suffer through the whole line because all the line has that 32 millimeter armor, so you'll just be suffering all the way through. And also, that includes the Patry, that is tier 10, the Super, because that is also 32 millimeters armor all over. That thing is just a giant... absolute giant pinata of damage. 32 millimeters armor all over and 108,000 HP. This thing is just like, oh yes, just take all the damage from me. Now you do get more guns on this thing, which is nice. And you do get a engine boost on it, but that goes a little bit quicker than the Republic. But it's a super ship without the super gimmick, and that's why I don't really like it. I wish I had a gimmick like some of the other ones, like the combat instruction, but it doesn't. If it had one, it'd definitely be more worth it, but fortunately they do not. So Oh, well. But yep, if you guys have any questions or concerns, let me know. And let me know what nation you guys think we should do next. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.